Back here on this Monday morning, our What's Going Around segment, our in-house doctor, family therapist, Jane Marks, joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. How are you this morning?
Doing fantastic. You know, a lot of kids out there enjoying their summertime, enjoying some time off from school. But that also brings us to this morning's topic, the internet and teens and a lot of free time on their hands.
Well, that's true. With a lot of free times, particularly those teens who don't have jobs. And I think the question this time was a mom whose son didn't have a job, and it seems like he was spending all of his time on the internet. And I think her question is there an addiction possible? And certainly it is. Kids, in my experience, who are more at risk, who spend time on the internet, are those kids who may have deep-seated emotional problems or behavioral problems. And what's interesting about the internet is that there's that immediate connection and that
instant gratification that comes with it as well.
And you know, it's only been recently with the newest research that they've begun to define internet addiction as a clinical disorder, and certainly other countries. But once again, kids who have attentional deficit disorder or significant depression or social anxiety issues, they are certainly more at risk for for internet addiction. I think as parents, it's very important, Greg, to be hypervigilant, that kids who and let me just define internet addiction, because I think that's important. Kids who expend excessive time and effort on the internet, they fall asleep in school, they don't keep up with assignments, they lie about their computer use, they choose to use the internet as opposed to friends engaging, in social activities. They also tend to lose track of time. They have trouble completing tasks.
It almost seems they're totally distracted, disconnected from the real world and more connected with the digital world.
Right. Isolation from friends. And, sometimes they turn to things like gaming, And again, it's the same kind of response. Gaming has that instant kind of feedback, and kids feel motivated. There's that, there's that sense that they've accomplished something. So parents have to be vigilant about that as well. Remember, as far as internet addiction, we only have at this juncture defined approximately 2 to 18% of teenagers in this country. The summertime just means that there's more time
to actually play around with. And I'm sure a lot of adults can kind of also relate too. Sometimes you get that feeling that you're constantly on your phone, and so it's something that I think a lot of adults can also relate to. But as a teen, just because they're in a different stage in their life, what's the best way for parents to just kind of talk with their teens and try to maybe curb a little bit of the excessive behavior?
Well, first of all, parents have to be educated themselves with regards to the use of the internet. And I think for parents, it's important to set boundaries on internet time. And parents think, well, how can I do that? Because I've got to go to work. And you know what? I had an interesting thing happen in my office where a parent bought a camera. It's called Piper. I mean, there are all kinds of cameras on them where they actually monitor the use, because they asked their teen, please just log in your use of internet time. Well, teens find it very hard to be completely honest about what they're doing. So they went back into the review for them. And again, what they found was that the use was approximately 6 hours a day while they were gone. That was too much time. So set boundaries for your teens. Make a commitment to turn that computer off at certain times. Set up a system of replacement behaviors. And don't make it an option for teens. You're going to participate in one of these 6 activities or 2 of these 6 activities every day. All of these are important to managing very healthy behaviors when it comes to internet use.
And probably one final tip too is for parents to keep in mind, you're the parent. Odds are you're probably paying for the phone bill. There's certain restrictions and programs that you can use as well when you talk to your local phone provider as well. So keep in mind you're a parent, not a friend as well.
Absolutely.
Great advice. Family therapist Jane Marks and WTXL contributor talking Teen Talk. And of course, we have all this great advice posted for you up on the Sunrise section and the Teen Talk section of our website, WTXL.tv.